I'd like to talk today a little bit about the subject of good governance and the implications of that subject for Ukraine. Good governance in general can be defined as something that describes the principles, approaches, and guidelines adopted by public administration that promote the interaction and the formation of political will in relation to various societal and technological changes. Good governance involves very sound public management to include efficiency, effectiveness, and economy, accountability, exchange and free flow of information, transparency in other words, and a legal framework for development to include justice, respect for human rights, and liberties. Good governance focuses in general on four major components. The first is legitimacy. Government should have the consent of the governed. Accountability, ensuring transparency, being answerable for actions, and media freedom. Competence, which includes effective policymaking, implementation, and service delivery. And finally, respect for law and protection of human rights. According to the United Nations, good governance is based on 8 qualities. It is first responsive, transparent, consensus-oriented, equitable and inclusive, effective and efficient. It follows the rules of law. It is participatory, and it is accountable. It ensures that corruption is minimized. The views of minorities, that is, of all the population, are taken into account, and that the voices of those most vulnerable in society are heard in all the decisions that are made. It is also responsive to the present and future needs of society in general. Recently, a 9th characteristic, strategic vision, has been added by some people. Here, leaders and the public have a broad and long-term perspective on what good governance is and on human development, along with a sense of what is needed for that kind of development. There's also an understanding of the historical, cultural, and social complexities in which that perspective is grounded. From this discussion, it should be clear that good governance is an ideal. It'll be difficult to achieve in its totality, with very few countries and societies coming close to achieving good governance in totality at all. However, to ensure sustainable, long-term human development, actions must be taken to work toward this ideal with the aim of making it a reality. There are several benefits of good governance. First of all, it promotes community confidence. People believe in the government. They believe in the power of community. They believe in the power of people. It encourages elected members and council members in local government to be very confident. As their confidence increases, they'll be more likely to make policies that will be suitable for everyone and that can be implemented successfully. It leads to better decisions. That is, decisions are made by informed data gathering. It includes gathering information from stakeholders and taking their views into account. And it includes open and honest debate that ensures that decisions made will please the entire community. Another benefit to good governance is that it helps local government meet its legislative responsibilities. When decision-making is conducted in the open and can be observed by the citizens, it is more likely that local governments will comply with their relevant legal requirements and meet their obligations. Good governance also supports ethical decision-making. It creates an environment where government officials can actually do the right thing. Good governance has a significant role to play in fighting corruption. There's general agreement that the leading causes of corruption include some of the following. If you have conditions that involve an abundance of natural resources, if you have autocratic and unaccountable government, if you have public services that are provided in an uneven or in a poor quality way, if you have civil servants who receive very low salaries, and in situations where they are situations that are under-resourced, where there's a lack of independence for public institutions and structures, those tend to result in situations where corruption can occur. There are several ways that are known to fight corruption, and good governance involves these opportunities. First of all, governments need to consider establishing some sort of economic or administrative or market reforms that would improve public resource management. They need to update their mandatory accounting, audit, and procurement regulations, as well as other kinds of internal management controls aimed at improving internal transparency and overall control. There needs to be significant involvement by a variety of civil society groups, to include the media and NGOs. Governments also need to look towards strengthening the capacities for decision-making and delivering basic services with an increased emphasis on achieving professional standards and maintaining oversight. And finally, they need to implement developmental initiatives. Growth in which benefits are widespread discourages corruption.